We have John Smoltz on now via the D&M Leasing Hotline here on Shan and RJ. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing good.
What hole are you on?
I'm on hole number 5.
How are you playing?
Even par, lip out a few. I'm in a really bad putting funk right now that I'm trying to work out before I get to Dallas. But everything else is right where I want it to be. I just got to get the putter going.
What is the best part of your game?
I always felt like it was length, and now that I'm 56, the length, it's relevant, but it's a little bit different than it was. And I always felt like I was a decent putter, never really 3-putt. And then the final stage in Q school this past year really put me in a funk. I've been trying to battle back since then.
This was like Barkley on that. What was that show where Hank Haney? Was this a Barkley Hank Haney thing where a technique or something got stuck in your head and you can't get rid of it?
Well, kind of what more or less, as an avid fan of golf, I never used to understand why do guys from the West Coast not putt well in the East and vice versa. And I get it. When you change surface, and that's what happened. The first stage was in Florida. I didn't have a round over 25 putts. The second stage was in Arizona, and I have a round under 38 putts. So
wow,
that's kind of the story of what has been, and it's really just it's more or less speed oriented for me. I lose my speed, and then I lose that connectivity.
John Smoltz here on 105.3 The Fan. John, you know that we've had you on multiple times. We love having you on. But we do have an elephant in the room. Do you know what that elephant is?
Oh, I probably do. It's every year around this time after a World Series. Does it have something to do with the World Series?
Yes, it does.
and the ALCS and the ALDS.
Yeah.
All the S's.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous it's the most ridiculous claim in the history of baseball, but it's all right. I was told that's what's going to happen when I get into this job. People are so used to their local broadcast that they have no conceptual idea that we come in neutral. And our play-by-play guy, Joe Davis, is going to call a home run as excited for the other team as excited for the other team. And Joe Buck told me, he said, listen, when you get into this, don't pay attention to everybody thinking you're rooting for somebody else. Just do your job. And that's what I've done. It really is ridiculous. Atlanta in the World Series against Houston, I got more criticism from the Atlanta fans that I wasn't a homer and I wasn't rooting for the Atlanta Braves. So if that doesn't tell you all you need to know.
Now, did you hear about it's just every year the same, or did you hear about the Texas Ranger fan base complaints during the playoffs or the World Series? Do you get that feedback?
No, I don't pay attention, and I could care less. It has no relevancy whatsoever. And so I don't have any social media, and my job is to call a game neutral. And like I said, when I did the Atlanta Braves series, which was the hardest series that I've had so far, just from a perception standpoint, everybody felt like that I wasn't – everyone knows I played for the Atlanta Braves. And so that comes without anybody having to look it up. So the calling the World Series all the way back from the Chicago Cubs to this one, nothing has changed. And thank God I don't have any social media because I'd be meeting some people in places.
John Smoltz joins here at 105 through the Fan. So just like nerding out here, like do you or to Joe Buck or Joe Davis, do y'all like approach a series with like a storyline in mind, like going into it and then react from that, or is it completely cold?
Yeah. Well, basically, Joe Davis, and I'm sure a lot of people have a little bit of the same tone. A lot of people may think I'm saying certain things. Joe Davis is talking about the storyline, and he's calling the game as any play-by-play should. I'm looking in the game for moments that could change a series or what a player is going through or what he's thinking. And I'm looking at it as if I was playing against the other team and vice versa. So when I'm talking about what a pitcher's trying to do to the hitter and what a hitter's trying to look for a pitcher, that's just studying and working and seeing trends. This World Series and this playoffs was unbelievable. Nothing made sense. And that's what made it so unique and so great. And that's why it's one of the best championships I've seen in a long time from the route that the Rangers took. And they have something special, and I said it throughout the entire broadcast, even though it seems like none of your fans listen to it. I said it, that they have a special sauce in their locker room that the analytics cannot explain, it's just something you can't explain. And it's because the manager and the management were so connected. And they did things in ways and made moves and just hung in there. And it's just a credit. No way ever will a team go undefeated on the road again, ever. And that is just, I shake my head. I go, man, having gone through this and done it my whole life, this is not what you're supposed to be able to do, and they did it.
So for the record, Chris Young never kicked your dog ever. You don't have a Diamondbacks hat on. You're not waiting for Game 9 to take place so Arizona can come back. For the record, John.
No, not at all.
That's good. It's good to know the Diamondbacks fandom didn't affect the objectivity. Then that's good. So, when you look at this Rangers team as they're trying to bounce back, John, and carry over the momentum into this next season with a lot of injuries to the pitching staff, they've got Corey Seager who's going to be missing time during spring training. Now Josh Young is hurt. How do you look at Texas's prospects entering this year in a tough AL West?
They just got to hang in there till they get healthy. They got to piece things together like they did last year. They won't be – what they went through last year will serve them well. It's not a game plan or a strategy you want to live by. Like, you don't want to keep pulling off those kind of triumphs. But when you go through tough stretches, you've been there, done that. When you're back is when you got to win all those games on the road like they did, done that. So they're not going to be – no deficit or lead is going to bother this team, and that's pretty special.
John Smoltz joins us here at 105 through the Fan. He'll be playing the Invited Celebrity Classic coming up in April. When y'all won in 95, did you find that in 96 that there was like because you guys have been building to that. The Rangers came out of nowhere and won, so maybe a little bit different. But was there like a honeymoon period, or did the fans get like hungrier that they finally got a taste of the title and they wanted it even more? And there was more pressure the next year.
Yeah, I think 96, we were going to prove to the world, we were built for this, and we were going to go on a 4 out of 5 run. Had we won in 96, we would have done that, no doubt. We lost in 96 in a really brutal way, and it changed our team, our roster. People got traded. It really dramatically changed the direction of our club.
John, when you look at deGrom and Scherzer, I'm on the pessimistic side of, okay, whatever you get back, they're not going to come back and ever be, especially Max with some of the age. But you have the injury and age concerns over both of them. As a Hall of Fame pitcher yourself, what do you think we can expect from these two studs?
Well, the good news is they know how to pitch. So when they get healthy, that's not going to be something they got to relearn. The Browns challenge is going to be one that, look, it's the second Tommy John. And when you go through two, you're trying in your mind, I would think, to try to do things differently so that you don't repeat the same thing over again, right? So whether it's training, whether it's certain regiments, hopefully he can get back to the place where he was, because he's the most dynamic starting pitcher in our generation. As far as Max and the others, I mean, they've been there, done that. It's just a matter of time, really. And that's the one good news about a veteran pitcher when he's been through his share of injuries. Nothing's really going to bother him until he's able to get back out there and be healthy and prove he knows how to pitch.
John, there's still a lot of guys unsigned around the sport. Jordan Montgomery's one of them, and I know the Rangers would love to have him back here. If he were to come back, in the next week, would he have enough time to get ready for opening day, or are we kind of already past that?
Pitchers can kind of get their reps in on their own. It's still not the same. You kind of really need to get in some game action. So to say, would he be ready? Maybe a little bit, but not game ready. And that's the one thing spring training does for pitchers. They're going to be in shape. but it's the game reps. It's the up and down. It's the things like that you need, really, really need to get yourself going for the start of the season. You know, you can throw your side sessions and simulate and do all that, and you'll be fine. But it's, to be fair, some of these guys who haven't signed now, it's going to take them a minute to get ready.
Yeah, John, you know, we've had a lot of discussion here in DFW about Jack Leiter and just the expectations that were placed on him. And he's had a lot of struggles these first couple of years in the minor leagues. He's entering spring training now, hopefully has worked on a lot of this. How tough is it for a pitcher like that, you know, kind of a legacy guy, being, you know, he's Al Leiter's son. He was a big-time SEC pitcher, top pick. How tough is it to come up through the minor league system and achieve that potential and that kind of weight that's sitting on him?
Man, I tell you, he's got it. He's got a hard, from that standpoint, he's got it hard, but he's a young kid. He's got his head on right. He's got his dad obviously pitching in the big leagues. Tremendous talent. He's got to put in his work, try not to chase results in the minor leagues. That's easier said than done. You got to be able to make quality pitches and learn how to adjust on the fly. And he's going to be a big contributor to the Rangers, I think, especially given what they have going for them right now, you know, in the starting pitching department, and they could use some depth.
You know, and not just Leiter, but you look at the youth movement that Texas has. They obviously got there with a lot of big-time veteran players, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager last year. But the outlook for the Rangers with a guy like Evan Carter, who came up and had the contribution he did in October, Josh Young making the All-Star team last year, and then Wyatt Langford, who everybody seems really excited about, and, you know, drew some comparisons pre-draft from some people to like Trout. When you look at the Rangers' future and that core, specifically with Carter and Langford in the outfield, how bright is that, and how quick do you think those contributions could come?
Well, certainly young players who contribute now are this is unbelievable how many young players contribute. It's a young game, right? They've got them in, you're getting them done, they're prepared. And the Rangers went through a lot of rough patches to get to this point to utilize that draft picks and those talents. So they're in a great place. And you know, winning their first, which is always fun to see. You want a team to get off that schneid. I'm a diehard Lions fan, so if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about me and my rooting ability for my team to win their first, this is a great thing for their organization. And moving forward, like I said, they've got a sustained run in them.
You know, he mentioned like Wyatt Langford. He's only played 44 games in the minors. Like, is there a too fast, even though he's like shooting up the system all the way to AAA, is there a too quick approach to get him up to the majors?
Well, I like to think that's going on throughout the game. I mean, I just can't imagine being thrust in the big leagues 2 years earlier than I was ready. But these guys are playing in showcase games. They're ready. They're doing things we never did. So they're more ready for the moment. There is a danger. You got to know the kid's personality and how he's going to handle failure, because that's right there in front of him. And if he can handle it, then it's going to serve him well. I mean, the guys you mentioned, they're going to be really good, but don't think they're going to come out and be studs all the time. They're going to go through their moments. They need to go through those failure points so they learn to become even better.
It's going to be the Celebrity Classic. We're going to be out there. So will John Smoltz, Las Colinas Country Club, April 15th through the 21st. Are you feeling better or worse of finishing sixth, what you did last year? You're going over or under last year's sixth place finish right now?
Oh, I'll be better. I'll be better than six. I did not have a really good tournament, but that's okay. And maybe I should I change my apparel, because I did have a Diamondbacks hat I was going to wear. Should I change that?
No, go full heel mode. Wear it. Absolutely wear it.
You might feel like you're playing in enemy territory, you know, like you're going into an NL East, enemy territory.
Yeah, I don't even own anything other than golf hats, but sure. It'll be a lot of fun. The tournament has got a great cause to it and component, and it'll be a lot of fun.
John, thank you for the time, man. Thanks for being a good sport. We'll see you out there. Enjoy the rest of your round.
You got it. Okay, thanks, guys.